Okay, wait. Okay, go.
Good evening, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. My name is Divya. First of all, thank you for joining our launch event this evening from anywhere in the world you are. So let's get started. It's my pleasure to share with you the story of Demi Gadis. Poet and famous civil rights activist Maya Angelou once said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." Yet many women and girls across Southeast Asia bear challenging realities dealing with gender-based abuses that are largely unseen, unheard, and therefore unaddressed. While Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei share common cultural and religious values, we also share similar systemic barriers that continues to silence the voices of women. The visible challenges that we face, whether it's in education, employment, or leadership, is made worse through the lack of regulation specifically targeting gender-based discrimination. So the problem is twofold. Not only are the abuses pervasive, but they also go largely unreported, making it difficult to enact meaningful change. This inspired us to come together and launch Demi Gadis, a campaign in conjunction with International Women's Day, involving a short film screening, in-person regional workshops, and the anticipated essay competition, with hope that the individual narratives, when amplified strategically, can illuminate issues, advocate for change, and influence policy. These stories will be the cornerstone of our efforts to shine a light on the realities of gender-based inequalities. Demi Gadis, which means for women, is also a play on the word demigods, because we believe that our stories can move mountains and change the course of history, or shall I say, her story. On behalf of the Demi Gadis team, we hope that you have a great rest of the evening with us and enjoy the screening of our short film. And this will be my cue to introduce our host for the much-awaited screening and panel discussion. With almost 14 years of creative grassroots experience, Nur Akila Ali is the founder director of Kitani Creative, a newly launched non-for-profit researching and leveraging the creative industries for community impact. She's also a recipient of the 2022-2023 Chevening Scholarship and an alumna of the Waisili Public Policy Academy. Akila, over to you.
Thank you so much, Divya. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everybody. My name is Akila. I'm from Brunei, and I'll be your moderator for wherever the film is concerned. Can I just underscore how excited we are to have people tuning in from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from Brunei? Please let us know in the comments where you're from. Indonesia and Malaysia are pretty big, so please let us know exactly where in the country you may be from. Oh, hello, Nat, and hi, Mujahid. Please feel free to interact in the comment section. Drop in any comments, drop in any questions you have throughout the whole thing, and let us. Well, thank you so much and for tuning in on a Friday evening, and especially for tuning in on International Women's Day. Very soon, actually, we'll be watching a short film called Liza to kickstart the Demi Gadis campaign, and we'll be hearing then from the writer and the director of Liza before we'll go into a 15-minute Q&A. So although the Q&A will be at the end, again, feel free to drop in any comments or any questions throughout the whole event. We will be looking at the film at 8:10. So perhaps I can share with you all what Liza is about and who are the brains behind it. Liza is produced by Brunei-based New Wave Film Productions. It's written by Alay Shafina, who we'll be hearing from very soon, and directed by Natasha Jasmina. Liza follows a young girl navigating social taboos, typically invisible to many, but harmful and full of repercussions nonetheless. It's only 9 minutes long, but a lot of us, well, the Demi Gadis team have seen it, and comments include it packing a punch. So I would have to give you a disclaimer. Viewers' discretion is advised. Content warnings include sexual abuse, domestic violence, suggestive, mature content, and sorry, let me just. Oh, somebody has said Bunayakin. Hello, Bats. Oh, Shami Batusha is actually the actress we will be seeing in in Liza very soon. The moderators, sorry, I'm the moderator in the Demi Gadis team. Oh, the Demi Gadis team has asked me to please share the link with your friends. No need to register, just share the link, have them hop on board, and we'll be starting in 3 minutes. Once again, interact with everybody else in the chat box. Drop in your questions, drop in your comments, drop in what activities you are most interested in for International Women's Day, what has been happening in your country, perhaps what's something that you'll be doing in relation to International Women's Day on the weekend. And then, thank you so much for the support. I see a lot of my name. Anyone from Malaysia tuning in, perhaps? From Indonesia, from anywhere in Southeast Asia? It can't all just be Bruneians. Well, perhaps they're shy. There we go. We've got an Indonesian there, Malaysia. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Okay. 808. Can I get a yes from the Demi Gadis team? Perhaps we can start earlier? A yes, a no? Let me double check.
Divya?
Divya, are you there?
Yes,
Shall we just start?
we can.
Okay, perfect. So, please enjoy the 10-minute film, and I will see you guys very soon.
Liza was a 9-year-old girl who lived with her father and older brother. Liza was an impressionable and quiet young girl. Since her mother had passed when she was younger, Liza would happily spend much of her time with her father at home.
Liza, sayang.
Liza loved her father, and on some nights, her father would come into her room and tell her that he loved her too. Of course, as all parents do, Liza's father reminded her that as a good daughter, she should always follow his instructions, to do what he says, and let him do what he wants. She didn't have the words to understand what was happening at the time, but she was made to understand that it was normal. Growing up without a mother, or at least a mother figure, Liza could never properly understand what was happening to her body, so things were a bit of a shock when she got her first period. It was more of an unspoken rule that when it comes to matters of women's bodies, it's better left private or unsaid. Even though Liza knew that periods were normal and that other girls in school had them too, it felt like a shameful secret that she had to keep and never talk to anyone about.
Ini lawan. Mana. Usai.
by the way, could Liza form her misconceived awareness about certain topics? But then again, you never know what you might stumble upon on the internet. At least Liza knew that it is a taboo, that it was something everyone abstains from until after marriage. And that was enough.
Oh.
Having an older boyfriend somehow made Liza feel that she was more mature than other kids her age. At least that was what he told her. Although it was all new to her, she felt
Is it
safe,
on?
as if she was in the care of someone who she thinks knew better. Someone she trusted.
That's so cute. Hmm? Ah, kenapa nih? Hmm? Nice nih. No, sayang you, right? You know I really want to do this. Mau kan?
So when he promised her that nothing bad was going to happen, she believed him. Fifteen-year-old Liza wasn't ready, and she didn't know what to do. Finding myths and rumors off the internet, she tried all that she could, even considering the drastic ones. Scared, alone, and too afraid to go through with it. She tried turning to her boyfriend for help.
Dapat deh kawan ko. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
She didn't know what the side effects were, but thinking she had no other choice, she takes the pill anyway. Feeling more scared and alone than ever. In her head, she wonders if there's even anyone out there who would listen, anyone who she could talk to. Scared to speak, the thought of reaching out just haunts her until Liza, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Driving to the highway, to the moon. can't believe that I got you. Swerving against the grain of someone else. Ambition, intentional, solitary confinement. Set by the rules. This world.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the event. I hope we're all okay. Please let us know in the comment section what everybody thinks of the film. A few people have already. Somebody said, "Oh, Liza." Lisa Mutalib said, "Oh, Liza, sad face." Hani Kalila said the voiceover and main character portrayed their emotions so well. On behalf of the Demi Gadis team, there was a little technical difficulty, so we apologize for that. We had it in the middle. If you just tuned in, hello. Thankfully, we had subtitles while the technical difficulty happened. But rest assured, later at 9:30, we will be uploading this short film onto Demi Gadis' Instagram. That's DEMI.GADIS, Demi.Gadis on Instagram. I'm going to read out a few more comments. Yeah, Ain Isa said it's like a punch in the gut. Oh, actually, I missed out a text earlier from Lisa. Lisa Mutalib said, "Happy International Women's Day, everyone." Okay, folks, we only have 25 minutes for the discussion, so we will move along. Can I please invite our panelists, Alay Shafina, the writer of Liza, and Natasha Jasmina, the director of Liza, to open their videos. So I'll just get started here. There we go. Hi, hello. Shafina is not only the writer of Liza, she is also the co-founder of Demi Gadis from Brunei. She's a youth advocate associated with the ASEAN Youth Advocates Network, or AYAN, and the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, YCLE, which the short film was partly funded by. Shafina, can you say hello to our audience and perhaps let us know what International Women's Day means to you?
Hello everyone. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope despite the technical difficulties we had during the screening, you were able to watch the film and kind of get our message that we were trying to portray and send to everyone. So yeah, I'm excited for tonight and good question. What International Women's Day means to me. I guess considering the theme of inspire inclusion this year, I think to me International Women's Day is kind of more of it's a thing for everyone where we not only uplift women but also encourage others to play a part in helping us women feel safer, feel like we deserve the same thing everyone else deserves. Just basic standards that I think every human needs and deserves. Yeah.
Thank you, Shafina. You're right. International Women's Day is not only for women, it's for everyone. Next, we have Natasha, or Tasha. She is not only the director of this short film, but is also a filmmaker who graduated from Mahakarya Institute of Arts. She had her directorial debut in 2022 with Sampul, an original 4-episode drama that she wrote herself. It is multi-nominated and multi-awarded at the Brunei Content Festival in 2022. And it also includes a nomination for Best Drama of the Year. Tasha, say hello and let us know what International Women's Day means to you.
Hello, everyone. Very nice to have everyone here. So, to me, International Women's Day, it mostly is like appreciation. Growing up, I had like a single parent, my mom. So she was more of like juggling two roles of a parent. So it's good to have like a day dedicated to appreciating the hard work that us and all of us, how we have it. And yeah, that's Women's Day.
Thank you for giving our audience a heart.
Yeah.
All the women
Yeah.
and everybody who's celebrating with us. This is all for
Yes.
you. Thank you so much. A few people have also gave their comments about the film, you guys. Ket Vitti said, made my heart ache. Sharifa Zaini says, I wish I could hug Liza. Lisa Mutalip, who's very active. Thank you, Lisa. She says, beautifully written and executed by the team. So heartbreaking that this could be the true stories of so many young girls, which I think actually is a perfect segue to getting started. Tasha and Shafina, why is Liza an important story to share tonight on International Women's Day?
I guess I could take that question. Thank you so much for starting off with thank you so much for starting off with that. So, just to give a little background of Liza's story. Liza's story was actually a script that I had written for one of my final year presentations in university. So, long story short, me and a group of girls, we worked on policy problems for women's issues, and that consisted of a lot of issues such as like lack of sex education, teen pregnancy, period poverty, and so on. So when we speak about these things, it's very normal to us in a very sad way, I feel. But also once we shared these things to the whole class, and of course there are boys in the class, it's more of like they were very shocked in a way to say like, oh, I didn't know this was happening to you. Like, this is something I am not aware about. So that kind of left a lot of us dumbfounded, thinking like, oh, how do you not know these issues when these are basically the reality of a lot of other young girls? So I guess from there, it just really started where I wanted to kind of bring the story of Liza to life, where we see these little everyday things happen, these little signs happen, but when we kind of think about the taboos, we often don't speak up because we're afraid. But I think it's more of a, how do you say, there's always been a platform for people to share their problems, but no one's just been brave enough to do so. So I think with this film, why it's so important to me at least, is that I think I just want to give people the courage to be aware, give people the courage to kind of speak up on what problems they may have, what they want to share, and also just, again, be aware, because sometimes people don't know that these problems are problems in the first place. So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
No, thank you for that, Shafina. I was actually asking a few people their opinions earlier about whether they thought puberty was a taboo topic. And I had a lot of mixed answers, actually. But some said yes, some said no, some were explaining why. But I realized that the root of it all is people aren't entirely sure because all of these things are invisible to us. A societal taboo is ultimately cultural, and culture itself is invisible to us. Um, and another interesting point that they brought up is that while we say while some people say it's not a taboo, I'm open to talk about it when they were growing up. And for those who are still growing up, going through all of this, they don't share because they don't know whether they can share. Tasha, what about you? What do you think?
I think the story that Alai tried to bring up for like in general this script and everything, I think it's such a good opportunity, and I don't think that I've ever worked with a storyline that is so real and kind of a touchy subject in like our country. So that was really like amazing to work on, and especially like having Liza, this girl, for this main story. And I think there's actually like multiple I think it's quite common that we have here, but I don't think people like to talk about it. So it's oftentimes like swept under the rug, and it's kind of like a reality check for like, those watching, especially coming from us. So it's yeah, it's really good for that lah. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, so real. Because it's swept under the rug. It becomes a punch in the gut. That well, people, there's a saying in Malay. I hope if I think we have a mostly Malay audience. There's a saying in Malay, "Jangan buka aib orang lain," basically saying don't. What does that actually translate to? Don't show people's bad deeds. Don't tell of other people's bad deeds. But perhaps that's misappropriated. And yeah, unfortunately, this is the reality that a lot of people face. So actually, can I ask very quickly before moving on to the next question that I actually had, were there any moments in the film that you would like to highlight to our audience? Perhaps something that they missed out, or maybe a BTS moment?
Yeah, actually, I think like while we were trying to get ready with the production, the pre-production process was actually a bit hard with our timeline. So like especially casting young Liza, that was really hard for us to find a talent lah for us, because I think it's not common for young actors here in Brunei to tackle such a heavy topic and like a heavy role, because they're mostly doing commercials and ads here. So to find a young girl to actually portray this character and have the consent of the parent as well to be okay with the script, it was really hard for us, but we made it through that. And also just wanted to appreciate our main talent, Bats. She plays adult Liza. I think me and Shafina, we watched her just portray teenage Liza the best that she can. And I think I couldn't imagine a different talent who could portray that character, because it was just really raw and emotional seeing her go through that breakdown and everything. So just wanted to appreciate Bats for her acting, because I don't think I've ever seen that. But yeah, for the BTS lah. Yeah, that's what I remember most for the whole process. The casting and also the acting.
Can everybody in the comments please give Bats a round of applause? Give the team a round of applause. Shafina, on to you.
Some BTS moments we'd like to highlight. I think not necessarily a moment I'd like to highlight because it actually didn't make it into the film. But something I definitely really want to share just to kind of commend Tasha's thoughtfulness in like her writing, because so I presented her with the story and she translated it into a screenplay. Then afterwards, so I just got to see how everything was translated into real actions and real words in very much detail. And there's one scene where Tasha added, which kind of showed very what's the word, very subtly, that Liza doesn't close her door at night because she's very used to having her door open because of past instances, past traumas. So it's more of like, okay, sometimes when people don't know it, like I said, when people don't know it's a problem, they're just, this is what I've been taught to be normal. I have known nothing besides what has been taught to me. So yeah, I think I think for the audience as well, maybe if you guys could deeply analyze the film once we do upload it onto our Instagram and rewatch it again, maybe you'll see like those tiny nuances where we've kind of added just another quick one where Liza is actually wearing her boyfriend's jacket in the first scene that they were together. I think we try to add like very, very subtle hints, and yeah, I guess something like that. We've put a lot of thought into the film, and I'm very glad that it's been translated very well.
Actually, I didn't notice the unlocked door. Thank you for bringing that up. I think appreciating the work and hearing the reasoning behind creative choices from creators goes a long way. Shafina, I'm gonna put the spotlight on you. So sorry. We are on a panel discussion. The film touched on a lot of taboo issues. A lot of issues typically deemed taboo. You've talked about, well, teenage pregnancy. That's one. You also sexual abuse, domestic violence, coercion, under coercion by peers. How do you tackle these issues how do you and Demi Gadis, did Shafina disappear? Oh no, okay, she's there. Tasha turned off her, sorry. How do you, how are you supposed to, how are you and Demi Gadis going to tackle all of these issues amidst potential backlash? Because a lot of women's bodies they get commented a lot, they get policed a lot on, and just being a woman is well, you automatically get these comments. So yeah, have you received any backlash? Have you thought about the backlash, and what do you guys plan to do about it?
I think as like when this film was still in the process of like script writing, I definitely had a lot of concerns. I was afraid about public reception due to, again, taboo issues being brought to light. But I think what I'm very, very grateful for is I've been around people, supportive people who understand the importance of bringing this cause up. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a little bit. But yeah, so with the taboos that we're getting, so we're not just trying to we're not just trying to address taboos through the film, we're also just trying to address the fact that just because as some people might perceive women as like, oh, your opinions don't matter as much as a man. And I think a lot of us have experienced that. Me as someone who's worked in an office before, I could contribute the same opinion as a male coworker, and their opinions are more, I don't know, it sounds smarter coming out of their mouths rather than mine. So it's not just our stories, but it's just we're pushing people to kind of give us the platform, or at least invite them to get to listen to us properly. I think we're always being given this idea like, oh, she's crazy, she's emotional, she can't, what does she know? So I think we're just trying to stray away from that and kind of empower that, you as a woman, as a person, have a voice, and that voice matters. So when we're trying to deal with taboos, so like I've said with the film, this is basically us trying to do the first step of raising awareness. So this is the first step of us trying to raise awareness, and then hopefully people are gonna talk about it, whether it's good or bad things. I'm pretty sure, well, I guess what people say, bad publicity is publicity, I guess. But if that's what gets the conversation going, then go ahead. I believe in my cause, and I know a ton of people who would support the fact that this might be something that starts conversations. So yeah, and just to do a really quick promotion as well. So speaking about women's stories, what the aim of our campaign is also actually about, so we're gonna be hosting an essay competition through this Demi Gadis campaign. And so hopefully when we get those things, we're gonna kind of receive an array of different stories and women's experiences and basically share them with the world if allowed, because again, a lot of these things go unnoticed. People don't speak about them. So we're just trying to amplify the messages.
Bad publicity is publicity, but really it's an opportunity for others to learn and to create conversations. Can I get someone from the Demi Gadis team to give the link to the competition that Shafina was talking about? So that everybody can have access to it and can read on it in more detail later. Tasha, I'm going to put the spotlight onto you. You are a female filmmaker, but the term itself has been under scrutiny within the creative industries. I say this as someone who is really interested in the creative industries, who's done it for her master's. Can I hear from you? Sorry, let me give the audience a bit more context. So some people say yes to the term because it's empowering and it evens the playing field. But some people say no to it because filmmaking is hard, full stop, for men and for women, for people alike. So and it traffics in stereotypes. I'm curious to know what you think of the term female filmmaker and what your experience is in Brunei about it.
So I was asked this question, I think like years back when I was a bit younger. I think I was like, yeah, like back in 2021. I was interviewed this question at a radio television Brunei, and they asked me what I felt about being a female filmmaker. I think back then I was kind of like new to the scene, so I did tell them like I didn't understand why they would have to specifically say the gender of what I was. So I didn't really enjoy being called a female filmmaker, but now I'm kind of like comfortable with that because I'm embracing like, yes, I'm also a woman that does filmmaking, but it's pretty neutral. Like I don't really mind. It's as long as like the category of what career I'm going for is there as like filmmaker, but so for me it's kind of like Chumatula. And then for I would say like in terms of filmmaking here, if you mind me going on about how it's like here. So personally, as being in the industry di sini, I think I feel like people don't see it, but oftentimes the women in this industry are pushed into roles without discussing it further. So there's a certain category where women would take the roles of non-action kind of roles, so like editing, writing, producing. But I have a few friends who are interested in the technical stuff, but they don't really get opportunities as much as, you know, men. But like I think that we should bring a light that there are women who don't mind working into technical stuff here in Brunei and not just being pushed into that category. So that's one thing. And then sometimes I feel like as a filmmaker here, people are so quick to assume that whatever accomplishment there is in a production, the audience mostly kind of automatically assumes that it was done by a man. I don't know if that makes sense. Because like I would release something or whatever, and automatically the audience will ask like, oh, was this by this person? And they would be a man. But they wouldn't go further into what credits were given to, like, it should be focused more on who is doing the hard work in terms of crediting. So we don't get much appreciation here, which I would like to see more in this industry in Brunei. That's my experience with being a filmmaker here lah. Yeah.
Actually, I was reading a couple of articles about female filmmakers in Southeast Asia. It turns out Malaysia has a lot of female producers, or it was framed in a way that most of the producers in Malaysia are female, which was really interesting. Brunei has a very small creative industries, but no, like I totally agree. Pay respect where it's due. Pay credits where it's due. But the good news is Brunei's creative industries are very nascent still. So we still have room to correct it. I see a question from someone in the audience. We'll get to them later, but please feel free, everybody, to give in your questions there. I only have one question left for the both of you. And I would like to ask you, what do you wish for people to take away from this short film? Perhaps we can hear from Shafina because we just heard from Tasha. I got you, Tasha.
Oh my God. Okay, what do I want people to take away? I think this is a very difficult question for me to answer in the beginning, because at first, of course, like I said, I wanted to make it known that women's stories should be heard, but then later I kind of saw that it seemed more like it was a message for these are the repercussions of taboos and when you don't speak about them. And that was like what the intention was when I initially wrote the story. But I guess what my final takeaway message is after the film has been produced, it's really just I want to echo what I said in the beginning. Women's Day, it's not just a day to celebrate women, but also to invite everyone to kind of take action. What I really want everyone to take from this is that women's issues are not just our issues, they're society's issues. If we're facing this, then this is something that you will potentially have to face as well, whether it's politically or economically or whatever. I don't know the statistics, but it's really just what we face. It's not our fight alone. And maybe let's just say how I take Inspire Inclusion, the theme for this year's International Women's Day is I'd like to kind of frame it in a way where how can we include men in the conversation in a sense where what can you as a man or whatever do or offer to make me feel safer when I go out at night? What can you do to make sure that I don't feel like I'm going to be stepped on whenever I enter an office and something like that? So it's really, if you can do something, do it. If you can be kind, do it. It won't hurt you. And yeah, so I guess that's what my message is. Stand up for women, listen to women, be nice to them.
Thank you for that, Shafina. Natasha, on to you.
Hopefully after everyone has watched this, they can now probably be aware of how often these stories come about, and I hope people are now more paying attention to those around them to see, and probably like it's fine to check up on your friends as well, and once in a while just ask them if they're fine or not, so that they could be more of a person to be there and listen to them and be more cautious of them. Just be aware and pay attention, because we never know, like, if they're hiding something.
Okay, we're 2 minutes past when we were supposed to start the Q&A. So I'm going to take a question that Ain Aisa has posed in the comments. If you could give one piece of advice to Liza, what would it be? And I would like to add my own question to it. If somebody here somebody here watching this stream right now knows a particular someone who's going through what Liza is going through, what would you suggest them to do?
Ooh, well, for starters, we're trying our best to kind of provide our audience with the resources in which they can go to find help at. We've included some hotlines and some links to where they can seek for help. There will be a post coming up for that soon as well. But I think it's really difficult to say, because I'm gonna keep echoing the fact that sometimes, again, they don't know these are problems to begin with, so they don't know that it's something that they have to report. So I guess it's more of, it's not what the person who may be a victim, a potential victim, whatever, can do, but rather I think teach the people, like you as whoever you are should teach whoever you feel might be more vulnerable to these instances. Because for me, I just really think education is the key here. Like, we need to teach others, and this is something I echo a lot to people. Teach your kids before someone else does. That was something I saw in a campaign once, and that has like really stuck to my brain. And it's just I think just always be prepared with the right resources. But if you feel like you are not the right person to be giving help to someone, I think, just be there for them, like for support, emotional support, and until they can maybe find their bearings to get professional help that they might need. But yeah, seek help. Don't be afraid to reach out, because it may be scary at first, but I'm sure like there will be someone who will be able to help you. So I guess if I could give one piece of advice to Liza, damn, darn. What would my advice be? I don't know, I guess I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna steal whatever Tasha's gonna say.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to say, to give advice, especially in Liza's case. She was like literally in a household where she trusts someone. So I'm gonna like say an advice like that was what I heard once someone said before. And I usually take this advice until today, is that no is a full sentence. It's more of like you don't really have to explain yourself, and it's like you don't have to explain yourself, and if you're uncomfortable with that, I think no is completely fine. But in this case, it's kind of hard for Liza because she grew up in a household that was normalized to love that way. So probably seek out help whenever you can. Whether someone asks for, like in this case, a teacher who was actually genuinely concerned. There was actually supposed to be another scene where we cut out Allah, if you remembered, so like basically there was a scene where the teacher did ask Liza during school times. This is before the ending. She did try to ask her if she was okay, and Liza was kind of scared to answer that because she didn't want to like burden her with like any problems, so she'd rather just kept that in for herself, and she just ignored it. She's just like, yeah, I'm okay, like she's fine. So I think seek help whenever you can. Just speak out, and it's okay to say it. Like it's totally okay to speak out, and hopefully whoever they speak out to will listen. So yeah.
So it starts at home and it starts with awareness.
Mm.
I actually would like to, I know I'm not supposed to answer the question, but I would like to support the both of you. I went to a pretty rural school in Brunei, and we had a talk about what one day all the girls were called into the hall, and then we were given a talk very suddenly about awareness, stuff like this. And the lady, like, there were a few laughs, like, oh, why, how does one not know that that's not okay to be done at home? But actually the lady who was giving the talk said, hey, actually we've had a few girls come up to us after these talks and say, I did not know that was not normal. So it does start with the home, and it also starts with awareness. I'm going to move on to the next question by Milan Sadwani. Their question is, what are your upcoming plans? Any more projects that will focus on similar topics? And this is, even though I think, I know that Shafina has plans for Demi Gadis, but Tasha, I would also love to hear from you if you have any plans, if this has inspired anything for your future ahead.
I think, I mean, of course, like I have future plans for upcoming projects, but after working with this, I think whatever project I will do, I will definitely include some part of awareness in it, and it doesn't have to be the main plot of it, but that's how I include all of these like awarenesses inside a storyline, and just keep doing that until people like notice it and see how subtle it is, but at the same time how important it is. Yeah, so for me, that's how I would like to include stuff like this into my stuff, is to subtly put it in there, but definitely include it. But yeah.
Well, I guess aside from the upcoming essay competition, I think Demi Gadis as a whole, so we're a three-country hosted campaign. So each country, Indonesia, Brunei, Malaysia, we will have our events coming up, which you can check out on our Instagram. But for me personally, from Brunei, we are hosting a women's self-defense class that's coming up just next week. And we're hoping to find more opportunities in where we create safe space for women to just kind of have these discussions on these topics very openly, in the comfort of like, other women as well. So potentially there might be something coming up, so do stay tuned. And I know this was kind of like a joke that we kind of made on set, but it was more of I think because we started off with Liza's story, so we kind of foresaw like Demi Gadis. It could be a series where it'll be a different array of stories from other women. I don't know, but yeah, well, potentially, we don't know. Yeah, look at Tasha.
Looking forward to it, you guys. Tasha, I'd like to just very quickly add on to what you said. A lot of times short films, series, and it has a obviously you have to focus on the entertainment value, but sprinkling social value onto it. Looking forward. Mike has asked, a decade from now, for the world to be a better and safer place for women, what are the first steps, or what are the things that needs to change to accomplish the vision?
Heavy question, Mike. Actually, no, like I said, awareness, and I just want to expand on that a bit more. Teach your kids early, and this isn't just limited to parents, it's teach your siblings, teach your younger friends, your little cousins, and so on. And obviously with the film, this highlights it's not just to teach them, but don't be afraid of teaching them, and don't be afraid of like seeking out knowledge about the things that you may not know about as well. Because I don't know a lot when it comes to women's health. So I'm very open to learning more about it. I would ask friends who might be like professionals in that field. I might watch a TikTok to learn about it and do research. So it's just don't be afraid to learn and share. Yeah, I guess it's really just taking that first step to
make yourself aware is already a step in itself, because from there you can kind of share what you know. And yeah, a decade from now, though, for the world to be a better. Yeah, I guess that's what I can say for now. That's what I have on the top of my head.
Tasha, have you got anything to add on, perhaps from the perspective of the film industry that you work in?
Yeah, I think it's good to be in terms of the film industry, probably if communication could be way better in terms of what everyone has to say, so we are able to listen to everyone's side and see where they would like to be put in, and also be considerate of what they want to achieve, probably. Yeah. And just give a lot of support to everyone. Yeah. And I like what si Shafina said about that her answer earlier. I think educating at a young age is very important, and I think that could help in a way, like for I think it stems dari damit, so I think it's really well kalau macam tu. So I agree with si Alay in terms of educating at a younger age and teaching them at a younger age. Yeah.
I've got one last question sent anonymously to my own message, to my own phone. This person's question, they would like to remain anonymous. Any plans from Demi Gadis that is targeted? Any plans from Demi Gadis on programs that are targeted for men to support the cause? Most of the plans aim to empower women, but how about educating men?
Yeah, definitely. So again, going back to the theme of inspire inclusion, so hopefully this might be happening in all 3 countries. There will be a film discussion, there will be a film screening wherever you are, and then there will be a discussion to be followed. And hopefully, if if time allows it, as I am aware that Ramadan is coming soon as well, we're hoping to have a film screening in Brunei, and that's going to be followed with a panel discussion as well. So with that, I'm hoping to bring back the idea of like, what can men do as what can you as a man do to make us feel safer? So it's just highlighting the role of other people into playing for women's safety as well. So do have a look out for that. Yeah, that's all I guess we have planned for now, but always follow Demi Gadis so you'll know.
Thank you so much, Shafina and Natasha, for tonight. It is 9:01 p.m., so I will have to give the floor back to Demi Gadis. But before I do, please allow me to read out a few more comments. Sumarni Laman said, if I can give advice to Liza, I would say, if you were broken or if you feel broken, you will not always be broken. I see many children who experience abuse when they were young, always leaving scars and feeling like they will never heal. So if you know someone who is going through this, support them. And then Ain Aisa says, no is a full sentence, totally, exclamation mark. And with that, folks, thank you so much for tuning in for Demi Gadis's the panel discussion on Liza. Again, this short film will be available at 9:30 p.m. on demi.gadis on Instagram, demi.gadis. And do also check out their, is it a short story competition, essay competition? More details on that on the Instagram. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Sumarni, I'm going to give the floor to you now.
Thank you, Akila. As we wrap today's events, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for being here. Your presence has truly made discussions memorable. And huge shout out to our moderator, Akila, for keeping this conversation flowing so well. And to also our amazing film director, Natasha, and our writer, Safina, for sharing their insight with us during the discussion. And of course, thank you all of you who joining us online tonight and made this event so engaging. I really love your energy. Thank you for like sending a lot of comments and your questions on the chat. But before we go, I just want again remind you, ladies in Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, about the Demi Gadis writing competitions. It is about empowering women to share their story and perspective on gender-based issue with the theme Suara Gadis Kisah Kita, Her Voice, Our Story. If you're over 18, this is your chance to make your voice heard. We already opened the registrations, so check it out. That's on the chat room. And thank you again, everyone, for being part of this. Once again, happy International Women's Day. Let's inspire inclusions. Bye-bye.